Potential careers and majors can have a big impact on where you end up looking for schools. Does this mean that you have to know exactly what you plan to do for the rest of your life today? Or that the second that you step foot on a college campus, that's going to be it? Absolutely not. There are a lot of different options. Students can 100% change their mind, but I want to talk to you about some things that you can do prior to going to college that are going to help make things go a little bit more smoothly. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Courtney and I am the founder of Confused to College Ready. I am super excited to spend time with you all. We have, this is our 47th episode of the podcast, which is hard to believe. We're coming up on a year. And we actually have over 1,400 downloads on the podcast, and that is all thanks to you. So I just want to tell you how much I appreciate those of you that listen, that share, and we are super excited to see where things take us in the future with this podcast. So I want to dive in. For those of you that don't know me, I'm a mental health therapist, turned school counselor. And now I have gotten into being able to help support families as they go through the college search. So let's talk through careers. You don't have to know exactly what career you want to do or that you want to pursue when you graduate from high school. There is some wiggle room for changes. Now, with that being said, there's always kind of the opposite side of the coin, that there are some majors where you are actually looking into what you're doing in school after they are looking for a very specific application when you apply to those colleges. Things like nursing or engineering specifically. Sometimes those are 5-year programs. And so making a change in your second year, that can be a challenge. So one of the things that I want you to consider is, do you have any specific interests that you have pursued in high school? High school is a fantastic time to explore different majors. We have several episodes that talk about that earlier on in the podcast. So I definitely want to encourage you to go back and listen to some of those ways that you can explore careers in high school, taking different classes, job shadows, internships, that kind of thing. And that's a wonderful, wonderful opportunity for you. But there also are other things that you can do. There are different career interest inventories. And I'll share some of those resources today. But there are a lot of needs where students don't necessarily have to attend a 4-year college in order to fulfill what they're interested in with their career. I've told the story before. If you're new, you haven't heard this, but if you've been with us for a while, you've heard me talk about the fact that initially I was a music major in college. I was not looking at doing anything. I wanted to teach. I was going to be a vocal music major. I thought about being a music teacher and all the different things. And I got into the classes and lost my scholarships. It was a very expensive lesson. Luckily, my parents were incredibly, incredibly supportive. But there's a lot that was going on. And so one of the things that I want you to think about is, do I know 100% what I want to do? And if you think that you do, fantastic. But if not, these are the resources that are for you. So one of the things that I want you to consider is completing a career interest inventory or an interest profile. There are a couple of national level career resources and websites that you can go into. One of them is careeronestop.org. There are interest assessments, there are occupation profiles. You can learn about the knowledge, what kind of training, education is required. There are a lot of resources there. It also talks about the fastest growing careers. You want to consider, as you are looking at careers, how many jobs are going to be open in this field in the future. Is it something where it's growing? Or is this something where there aren't going to be as many job openings? And so even though you might make a decent salary when you leave, how hard is it going to be to find a job in that particular field? So Career One Stop has some wonderful things. They work with it's sponsored by the U.S. Department of Labor, and so you'll be able to find information from different states. That is fantastic. The other resource that is wonderful is onetonline.org. So onet, O-N-E-T, online.org. Here you also can find things like your interest profiler, different information on trainings, work activities. You can find information based on job duties. One thing to consider when you are looking at potential careers is how much money might you make in that particular field? If it's something where you might not be, where you're not making what you think, some websites will call this a reality check, that you look at what your salary is. If you end up needing to take student loans out to go to college, it is looking at how much money are you paying back in student loans? What is rent going to look like? How much money are you going to need to pay for gas? If you're going to have a car payment, health care, different, essentials of daily living, food, your utilities, all of those different things. So that reality check can help you understand, okay, this is my career. This is the average. Now, remember, the average does not mean that that's what you're going to get right out of the gate when you leave college. That's something that's an average. And so that is looking at people with 25 to 30 years experience and combining that with those that don't have a whole lot of experience at all. So it's important to consider that. It is important to consider how many jobs are going to be opening in the future, and how does your choice of major, if you end up deciding that you want to change your mind into something else, how is that going to have an impact? Is it going to be easy for you to change? Is it going to be harder for you to change? And the last thing that I would leave you with is, do you have to attend a 4-year school in order to immediately after graduating from high school, do you have to attend that 4-year school in order to earn your degree? And there are a lot of skilled or trade jobs that are going to be opening up where students will not have, they don't have to have that 4-year degree. They're getting training in that particular trade or that particular field. And there might be a lot of job openings, and you might be able to look at your job, having an internship, and they start paying for you to do the training that's needed for that job. So there are a lot of opportunities, there are a lot of options, and we just want to make sure that you consider all of those. So again, those resources, we've got onetonline.org, O-N-E-T, online.org. And then the other one is careeronestop.org. So your career, your major, those things do not have to be set in stone by any means. You can look at making some adjustments. You can look at what do you feel like is going to be the best fit. But I would encourage you to take a look at that. You can look at it early on. It doesn't have to be something that is cemented. Have conversations with family about what might be the right thing to do. For those of you that listen weekly, you might have realized that we actually did not have an episode that came out last week. Episode 46 came out on October 5th, and it was all about staying focused when you feel tired and overwhelmed. And one of the things is you need to make sure that you take care of yourself. And that was what I was doing last week. I needed to focus on some things with my full-time work and to be able to rest the way that I needed to. And sometimes we just have to step away. And so I want to remind you that that's okay to do. It's okay to have that time. For those of you, again, that are new, I would love to have you leave us a review on the podcast, share with other people. You also can sign up for our free guide on how to start or expand your college search. If you go to confusedtoready.com/how to start, you can download that guide right now. I hope that you have a wonderful day. I look forward to talking with you more. Take care.